Okay, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Caitlin. I'm one of our ePayroll consultants here. So I'm just going to be running this webinar for you today. This is just following on from the Account Tech Live event that was held in Melbourne last week. So we're really excited to showcase a little bit of ePayroll today for you. Okay, so today we're going to be covering a few things. We're going to be going through some of the key features of ePayroll, including employee data, employee self-service, web-based leave management, and how to run a payroll in just 4 easy steps. We're also going to go through the benefits of the ePayroll Partner Program. We're going to talk about some steps to sign up to our partner program. So just a little bit about ePayroll. We are Australia's first online payroll software. We were established back in 2002. We have over 25 years of payroll experience. We are also now part of the ReadyTech Group, Ready for the Future of Work. And we process over $10 billion in wages per year. So what is ePayroll? ePayroll is simple to use and it saves you time. It is designed for the non-payroll specialist. And we also automate employee payments, superannuation, PAYG, and payroll tax. We also provide employees with payslips online and a leave management online as well. ePayroll is cost effective, so it's just a simple monthly payment, and we do have several packages to suit your needs. We also have a specialised partner program for tax and BAS agents. ePayroll is compatible, so we seamlessly integrate with leading GLs. It's not just an add-on to the GL account. Some examples of our integrated accounts are Xero, Accounts IQ, MYOB, NetSuite, or Jcurve. And we also offer easy to add on additional ePayroll solutions such as time attendance plus award interpretation. ePayroll is also secure and reliable. So we have a secure SSL with a 256-bit encryption, and we are ISO 27001 certified. We also store all of the data within Australia in the T1 data centre. We also are reduced risks as we are STP compliant. So now we're going to jump over to ePayroll and just take a bit of a look at our ePayroll account. So what I'm going to show you first here is what it would look like to sign in as an administrator on the account. So looking at it here, this is our homepage. It has a bit of an overview of what's happening on your account. It's got some payroll information and everything like that. If we look down the side here, we can see the navigation menu. So there's three options that we can have here. So the first one at the top is our onboarding module. So this is where you can sign employees up and they enter their own details onto the account. Once it's all entered into the account, it creates a new employee profile, so you won't have to manually be adding employees in. There's also the option to manually add an employee if that's something you would rather do. Next, we've got the ePayroll tab. So this has all the functionalities for you to be able to run your payroll. And then we've got our synchronize feature. So this is our time and attendance feature that we can add onto your account if this is something you're interested in. And this is where you'd be able to seamlessly integrate timesheets and award interpretation to your payroll as well. Also, it's good to make note, this is where we would enter your company logo. So if you wanted to brand the ePayroll account to your firm's logo, this is where we'd be able to do that up here. What I'm going to show you first is an employee's account as well. So what you can see on the screen here is an employee from an employee's perspective. So it is very similar to the administrator's account, but they won't have access to that payroll information or anything like that. So for an employee, they'll have this homepage here and they'll have access to their recent pay slips and leave information on this homepage. If we go to their My Account tab, this is where they'll be able to look at a bit more information of their account. So they'll be able to go into their personal details and payment methods, and they'll be able to view or edit any of that information there. They'll also be able to view their pay slips and payment summaries on their account, and also have a look at their leave history and their accruals as well. What I'm going to show you first though is our leave and expense module and how employees apply for leave. So the first tab that I'll show you here is our projected leave tool. So this projected leave tool allows employees to project their leave to a future date. So if they know that they're going to be going away in a few months and they want to see how much leave they'll have as that day before they apply, they can use this tool, and then it will give them an estimated value of how much leave they will have accrued at that date. So that leave balance is also including any approved leave that's already in the system. So they know if they've got leave in the system, they don't need to worry about reducing that. The system will do it automatically. But to apply for leave, the employee would go to the Leave and Expense homepage, and they would click this Apply Leave button here. So this will bring a leave form request up for the employee that they can enter. So they'll enter some details such as what type of leave they're applying for. If they need to attach any documentation or make any comments, they can do that. But they'll just enter their start date and end date of the leave. And the system will automatically calculate how many working days are in that period and how many hours need to be applied for that particular leave application. So what's really good about this is that we can also set up leave schedules. So if your clients have part-time employees or anything like that, we can set up a leave schedule which tells the system what days the employees are working and what hours. So when they do put in a leave request, the system can calculate how many days and hours they need to apply to that leave request. What's really good, even though the system does automatically calculate all of this, you can still manually change the hours applied if it is incorrect or if there's a half day involved or anything like that. So there's still that ability to make some manual changes to that as well. Once they're happy with that, they can click the Submit Leave form, and it will submit the leave to the leave approver. So the leave approver and the employee will both receive notification emails to let them know that that leave has been submitted for approval. What I'm going to do now is jump back over to our administrator's account so we can have a look at how that leave's approved and paid into a payroll. So what a leave approver would need to do is go to the same tab, the Leave and Expense Home tab, but they also have a few more options here, as you can see. So the first thing I'm going to show you is our leave roster report. So this leave roster report will allow your clients to download so they can see exactly what employees are taking leave. So you can choose a start and end date, and it will give you an overview of what employees are taking leave at what times. So they can download this report, they can print it out, they can do whatever they want with this. But what's really handy about this is that you can also hover over the leave applications on this leave roster report, and it will give you a bit more information about the leave application itself. So I'll give you information about whether it's been accepted or if it's still processing, what type of leave, and even the dates of the leave as well. So now that they're happy with that leave roster, they want to look at the leave application. There's two options here. So on this Leave and Expense homepage, the leave approver will be able to see a list of all of the leave applications that they're able to approve. They'll be able to see whether they're accepted or still processing. There's also a search function at the top here which you can change the status. So you can also look for old leave applications in the systems, cancel leave applications, ones that have already been paid, things like that. But if we're looking at this leave application we've just submitted now, we can do two things here. So we can click approve on this page here, which will just do a quick approve, which will let the employee know that it's been approved. If they want to look at the information in a bit more detail, they can click on the edit button of the leave application, and it will take the leave approver to the leave request itself. So having a look here, they can make some changes to this leave application, so they can make their own changes if anything does seem wrong or if it's incorrect. They'll also be able to redirect the leave application. So if you have more than one leave approver, there'll be a drop-down box with some other leave approvers on the system, which you can then redirect this leave application to. So on this page, there's also a few more options for you. So your clients will be able to cancel the application or decline the application on this page, but they can also still approve it here as well. So if we approve this application, what will happen then is that the employee will automatically receive a notification email again to let them know that it has been approved. So now that that leave's approved, up until this point in the leave process, there hasn't been much need for a payroll person. It's been more between an employee and a manager perspective. So for the payroll person to be able to pay leave to the employees, they'll come to this leave payment screen on the side here. So this leave payment screen will show up any outstanding leave applications that are in the system that have already been accepted. So if your clients have more than one payroll in the system, they'll be able to also choose which payroll they need to submit the leave to. and it will show you the dates of the leave across the top here as well. So this is the section down here where it's got our leave application. So this will show all of the leave applications, whether they're 6 months in advance or whether they're for this payroll. So this will show up on this page here. What's really good about this, there's two options that we can do for submitting the leave to the payroll screen. The first one is that we can manually enter the pay hours. So the pay hours are the hours that we're going to be paying into the payroll. So we can manually enter that here, so that when we submit to payroll, those hours will be pushed through and paid to the employee. The other option is this autofill pay hours button. So if we click this autofill pay hours button, the system will automatically recognize what needs to be paid out within this payroll with these dates at the top here, and what's going to be for a future dated payroll. So I've clicked autofill pay hours, but both of these leave applications don't belong in this payroll that we're running today. So it's not going to pay any out. Of course, as I mentioned before, you can override that, and we can still push through the leave by manually entering the hours. So if we're happy with that, we can submit the hours to payroll and hit OK. It'll bring up an event listing for you to check that there's no errors or any warnings with that process. And it will basically just let you know exactly what the system has done in regards to your payroll. So it's updated our annual leave hours and reduced our ordinary hours. So that's all we need to do for the leave management process. It is very straightforward. But now I'm going to jump in and have a look at how we run a payroll. So if we go to our open payroll screen on the left-hand side here, it will bring us to our payroll process. So as you can see up the top here, it is just 4 easy steps to run your payroll. So the first step we've got here is our update employee hours worked. So this is where we enter the hours and payments that we want to pay to each employee. So if I scroll down here, we've got our input sheet. So this is where you have your employee names down the left-hand side, and we'll have the pay codes across the top. So this grayed out line here is that leave application that we've just pushed through from our leave payment screen. So it's grayed out, so we can't make any changes to that. You'll also be able to see that there are some hours that are already automatically populated into this payroll. So these are the hours that we enter into the employee's profile when we're setting them up. What's really good about this as well is that even though it is automatically populated, you can still manually make changes to these hours if they, for some reason, are not correct. So we can update the employee's hours manually. And we can also enter any payments. So if this employee has a bonus for this week, we can enter that bonus in manually as well. So you can make sure that everything's correct on this screen. If you have more than one page, they'll show up across the bottom here. So your clients will be able to navigate between pages, and it will show as last names. So the next page, last names, will go from GOD to MOR. So that's how you can navigate between each page. What's really important as well is that if we do make changes to the payroll here, we need to click Save Changes. If we don't, it won't update. And when we go to the next step, it will revert back to what we had previously. So once all of that's correct and you're happy to move forward, we can go to step 2, which is the check verification reports. So step 2 will basically run the payroll in a kind of sandbox environment. So it will give you some information regarding the tax and super calculation, so you can check that that's all correct. So basically there'll be 3 reports that are generated here. The first one is the event listing. So the event listing is similar to the leave payment event listing that we saw previously, where it will give you warnings or errors that the system has flagged within the payroll. So if there were errors, you would have to go back and fix those errors at step 1. If there's warnings, they're just basically there to warn you about what is happening and what the system is doing for this payroll. You can still process the payroll with warnings on this step. So you don't have to action them. They're just there in case you wanted to. So for example, these warnings here are just advising that these employees haven't submitted a tax file number. There's no tax file number on the account, so they're going to be taxed at a high tax rate. So if you didn't want that to happen, you could go back and enter the employee's tax file number before processing the payroll. The next report we've got is the exception report. So the exception report will show you any differences between the last payroll you ran and this payroll. So some of the differences that will show on this report are bank account detail changes for the employees, any cost center detail changes, or as you can see on this report here, it's got gross pay changes between the last payroll and this one. So it can show you a difference between what you've processed last payroll and what you're doing now. So if your clients know, for example, that this needs to be the exact same figures as last payroll, and there's a difference showing here, that allows them to go back and fix up any changes that they need to make. The last report is the transaction report. So this is probably the most crucial report at this step. So this will break down the payments for each employee. So you'll be able to see at this step what the tax is being calculated and what super is being calculated. We'll also show you all of the ordinary hours and everything that's getting paid to the employee, so you can double check that that's all correct. On the very last page of this report, you'll be able to also see a company total. So you'll be able to see an overview of the payments for the whole company for that payroll, so you know exactly what's getting paid out. If we're happy with everything on this step, we can then go to step 3, which is run the payroll and create the reports. So this will process the payroll. What's really, really good about this step, it will process all your reports, which you'll be able to check and confirm are correct, but it will still allow you to roll back your payroll at this step. So if you do come into any issues or find anything that you need to change, there's this orange rollback payroll button, and it will allow you to go back to step 1 and update anything you need. So that's really important, because once we go to step 4 and process the payroll and mark it as paid, you won't be able to roll it back yourself. It can still be rolled back at that stage, but it's something that we in the support team would need to help you with. So it's really handy to have this step 3 here so that you can roll back the payroll and you can fix it yourself before proceeding. So to check the reports, there's the reports tab on the right hand side here, and you'll be able to view the reports. So they do take a few minutes to upload, but there's 2 types of reports that will generate. The first one, as you can see here, are the payroll files reports. These will generate each payroll that you run. And the second one is the month-end report. So these will generate when it's the last payroll for the month, and you'll be able to view those then. So some of the payroll reports that our clients do tell us are quite useful. So for example, the entitlement report, that will give you a balance of all employees' leave accruals on the system, and it will also give you a notional dollar value, so you can see what your company liability is for that. The transaction report is also a really good report at this step. It's similar to the transaction report at step 2. So that's really handy. It will show a breakdown for all employees. Another, in regards to the month-end report, some of the reports that our clients do tell us are useful in these reports are the payroll summary report. So this will give you a summary of the payrolls for the month, the quarter, and the year. So it will show you all those details. Another report is our fulfillment liability report. So this will show you the super amounts that have been calculated for that month, and give you the liability for each of those for each employee. So once we've looked at those reports and we're happy with them, that we want to proceed, we don't need to roll it back or anything like that, we can go to step 4 and mark the payroll as paid. So there's a few things that happen at this step. The first thing is that if you are needing to report to the ATO via STP, if it's set up on your account, this is where you would declare the information. So there'd be an extra tick box just above this blue button here, and it would say that you declare the information in the payroll is true and correct. You would mark a little tick box, and that basically means you're agreeing for us to send the information to the ATO for you. Once that's marked, you would then click this Create Bank File button. So this is where it will generate your bank file or ABA file. It'll bring up this pop-up box, and it will say, do you want to mark this as paid? And we click OK. Once we hit OK, the few things that it will do, the first one is that if you're integrated with an accounting software, it will bring up the journals for you to send to your accounting software. So it comes up with a pop-up box like this one. Because this is just a demo account, we don't have the information mapped correctly to a GL account. So it's not bringing the information up, but this is how it would appear to you, and it would have all the information which you would then be able to send to your account. The next thing that would happen is that it will generate your bank file. So if we hit on this reports button now, you'll be able to view all the reports that we saw at step 3, but it'll also have the bank file for you to download. So you'll be able to download that there and upload it to your bank to pay the employees. The last thing that this step will do is that once you mark the payroll as paid, the next payroll will automatically be created for you. So you don't need to be manually creating payrolls every week. It's all automatic. Okay, so that's how we run a payroll in our standard payroll package. What I might show you now quickly is how we can navigate between your clients' accounts. So if you have more than one client with us, you can go up here and click on Change Employer. So this Change Employer will give you a drop-down list of all of your clients that you have on the ePayroll account. So this will just allow you to use the one login to be able to navigate between each account that you want to. So I'm going to jump into this account here. So this account is set up as an assisted payroll. So for example, if you have some less sophisticated clients that you don't really want to be processing their own payrolls, you want to be able to have the final say with that. This account will allow you to allow your client to enter their own payroll information and then submit it to you as the final approver to submit the payroll. So if we go to open payrolls on this account, you can see across the top here there's only 3 steps. So basically on this account, steps 1 and 2 are exactly the same as we just saw. So this will allow your clients to enter the employees' hours and payments at step 1 and go to step 2 and check that they're happy with the information that they've put in, they can check that the super and calculation is looking correct. And then when they go to step 3 and submit the payroll, they'll submit the payroll to you, and you will then be able to do steps 3 and 4 for them on their behalf. So this just basically will allow you to ensure your clients are staying compatible and compliant with all the laws and legislation. So you have that final say whether you need to make any changes, or if you want to finalize that's all up to you. So they enter all the data and you finalize it from your end. So those are the 2 options that we have. So the first one will give the client access to process their own payroll, or this one will give them access to submit the payroll to you. So that's up to you and how you would like your clients to be able to run their own payrolls. What I'm going to do now is jump back over to our presentation and just go through some of the benefits that the Payroll Partner program will have to your clients. So ePayroll is a simplified software. So payroll data can be accessed from any location, remotely or off-site. And as you just saw, you can save time processing the payroll, as it is just 4 easy steps. There are on-demand reports as well your clients can download, which are available 24/7. And your clients' employees can also access their own payroll information and leave information whenever they need it. Your clients will be able to conveniently keep all employee data in a single system using custom fields and notes, and those that reduce risk with us being STP compliant. We do offer regular training, which is available face-to-face or via online webinars like this one. And we do have dedicated consultants for email or phone support during business hours. If your clients need help outside of the business hours, we also do have an online help centre, which is gives you access to support 24/7. So you can ensure your clients are staying compliant. So the ePayroll platform will enable complete control of payroll-related compliance obligations, including single-touch payroll. You'll also be able to maintain your client's payroll and tax compliance, as we do offer an automatic interface with tax office and super funds, and we do data checks that validate the information in your ePayroll account. So ePayroll is secure and reliable, and we do offer quality support with 98.5% of client inquiries responded to within 4 hours. We're also one of the few payroll systems to fully support STP direct to the ATO. So what are some of our partner program benefits? So as you can see, we do have two options if you want to become a partner with ePayroll. So the first one is our payroll partner. So this will basically let your clients deal directly with you for any payroll inquiries they may have, and then you can deal directly with us with any queries or questions as well. You'll be able to manage your clients' payroll needs yourself, so you take care of all of that, and we do offer a 30% discount with this option here as well. So this gives you a 30% discount on all prices. The second partner program that we have is our Refer a Partner. So this will let you kind of push the responsibility onto your clients to run their own payrolls. So your clients will deal with us if they have any payroll related queries, and the clients will run their own payrolls. With this one here, you do receive a 20% rebate on the fees as well. So that's another option. So whichever one best suits you and your clients, you can choose to sign up with either of those. So to sign up to the Payroll Partner Program, it's just 4 easy steps. So step 1, you go to epayroll.com.au, and step 2, you can click on the Partner with Us link, as you can see on the screen there. Step 3, you can enter your details on the inquiry form, and then step 4, one of our ePayroll specialist consultants will be in contact with you, whether it be myself or one of the other teammates. So on the screen here, you can see our payroll packages. So these are all the packages and pricing we have. The prices you see on the screen are our prices that we offer to our normal clients. So any prices that you see here, you will receive a 30% discount. If you're a Refer a Partner, you'll receive 20% rebate on these prices as well. So if you did have any questions at any point, or your clients needed to contact us once you're signed up, these are our contact details here. So our phone number is 1-800-372-976, or you can email partner@epayroll.com.au. So that's everything in the presentation today. We do have some time for some questions. So if anybody has any questions at all, you can pop them in the questions box now, and I'll get through as many as we can. Okay, we've got our first question here from Richard. Does it cost any money to join the partner program? So no, it doesn't cost any money to join. It's just a quick and easy, simple process to join our partner program, and the benefits are all to you. You receive either the discounts or the rebates, so there really is no loss in signing up to the partner program. Our next question here is from Peter. Can the payroll reports be exported to Excel? So most of our payroll reports can be exported to Excel. There are a few that are only available to be downloaded in PDF, but our on-demand reports, you can choose which format you want to download them in. And the paid payroll reports that we saw earlier, they can be configured to be downloaded in Excel. You'll just have to get in contact with us so we can set it up on your account that way. So our next question here from June, does the GL software need to be online version? So no, we integrate with either desktop version or online, as long as the GL software has the correct API for us to be able to integrate with. that shouldn't be a problem at all. We got our next question from Yuki. Can I process pay super directly from the ePayroll software? So I am thinking you're talking about automating the super payments. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So we can automate the super payments for you. We do act as a clearinghouse. So we'll just need to set it up on your account, and that we can automatically pay that super either monthly or quarterly for you. Got another question here from Peter. How is the termination/ETP function? So in ePayroll, the termination function is quite simple to use. You would terminate the employee in the system, and then you would choose, if you need to make ETP payments, you can choose the option to do that, and then you would manually enter in the ETP amounts, whether it be a redundancy, a lump D, anything like that. The system is set up to automatically calculate the correct tax amounts, whether it be a tax-free amount or not. So the system's got all of that set up, so most of that is automatic. Our next question here is from Barbara. Does STP cost extra, or is it included in the monthly fees? So the STP is included in the monthly fees. There's no extra on cost for our STP feature, and this just allows you to stay compliant. So there's really no downside in that. Yeah. Our next question here from Stephanie. Am I to understand that you can lodge with the ATO for STP compliancy directly and no need to export an accounting software that is compliant? So yes, that is correct. We do lodge to the STP directly, to the ATO directly via STP. So there's no need to connect an accounting software system or anything like that for lodgement. Okay, we've got another question from Meredith. With Payroll Partner, can my clients enter and finalise, or do we always need to oversee each pay run? So that's completely up to you and how you would like it to be kind of set up. So you can give your clients the payroll authority on the account so that they can do the payroll themselves. It's up to you whether you want to give your clients that ability. So it's definitely an option for them to be able to run it themselves, and then you can still have the access to overview it as well if you need to. We have another question here from Greg. Which versions of Xero do you talk to? Does this need to be a Xero business file, or does it talk to Xero partner files? So we use Xero's API for integration. So as long as your Xero account allows API access, the integration will work. Got another question here from Yuki. Do you have any manual video clips for employees to learn how to use? So we don't have any kind of video clips or anything like that, but we do have some PDF manuals, and our online help center also does help employees. So we can definitely send some PDFs to you, or give you show you where you can access the online help center for employees to look at that as well. We also have another question from Meredith. Is there a limit to the number of employees in a pay run? So no, there's no limit to the number of employees in a pay run. You can have as many as you like. There's really no limits to anything in the system. You can have as many pay runs as you like, and you can have as many employees in the pay runs that you need. So our next question from Meredith is, are there any security features, for example, login, can only access hours or for data entry and unable to view reports? So there are some web roles which you can assign to certain people that will allow limited access in regards to being only be able to enter the data entry. I don't believe that they can only enter the data. The only option we have in regards to that is that they would be able to enter the data, but they would also be able to go to that step 2 of the payroll where they can view that transaction report. So I can definitely, we can definitely look into seeing if we can enable a limited access to that, but at the moment I don't think there's that availability for that option. So our next question from Yuki, can employees access this system from mobile phone? So yes, we do actually have a mobile app for employees. So this app will allow employees to log in on the app, and they'll be able to apply for leave or expenses. They'll also be able to view pay slips and payment summaries on the app as well, and view some of the other details that the employee can view on the online desktop account as well. So this is available on Android or iPhones for employees, and they can download that and log in as they wish. Our next question from Meredith: how are multiple allowances and deductions handled with the current across screen display? So allowances and deductions, depending on how it's set up. So there's two options with deductions. You can set it up as a salary packaging. If you set it up as a salary packaging amount, this will be added to the employee's payments every payroll that you run automatically, so you won't need to enter that in. But otherwise, you can set it up as a pay code, and the pay codes will show in the columns across on step one. They'll show in the columns on that screen there, so you'll be able to enter the amounts manually. And if the columns and pay codes don't fit across the screen, there is a slide option, so you can slide across and access the rest of the pay codes on that as well. So it's really simple to view once you get the hang of it. So you'll be able to see that the pay codes go across the top, and then you'll enter the amounts, allowances or deductions there. But if it is an ongoing deduction or anything like that, the best option is to set it up as a salary packaging amount, so that way you know it's automatically calculated in there and you don't need to worry about the pay code side of it. So it doesn't look like we've got any more questions at the moment. I'll give it another minute or so. If you have any more questions, please ask them now, and I'll get to them. Okay, we've got a question come through from Meredith. How is the billing handled? Do you raise the invoice at the end of month based on number of employees, client, pay run, or month? So the packages are based per employee. So the prices are based per employee per month. So the invoice will be generated at the end of month, which will it will show you for each client. If you have more than one client, it will break it down for each client, and it will show you the amounts for number of employees. So if you also have additional add-ons such as time and attendance, it will show you the price including that. So it's raised mostly by number of employees. You can have as many pay runs in that as well. So it goes off the number of employees in that month, and you can have as many pay runs in that as you need, and it's just as simple as that. So is it only active employees that you're charged or for terminated? So it's only active employees in the system that we charge the pricing for. If you terminate them correctly in the system, they'll be made inactive, and then you won't be charged for those employees. So as long as you terminate them correctly or make them inactive correctly, you'll only be charged for those active employees. Okay, so it looks like that's all the questions that we can get through today. If you do think of any other questions or want to talk to one of our ePayroll specialist consultants, you can give us a call. The number and details are on the screen. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions. But I thank everyone for joining us today, and I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.